Hey guys, Carl here, Cultivate with Carl, and it's time for your weekly garden update. There's a lot happened since our last update. It's been coming that time of the year where we should be expecting some winter weather, but this is South Mississippi. Today it was 72 degrees, and it's going to be like in the 50s tonight, if we're lucky, maybe 60s. Our first frost date has passed, which was December 1st. That's our average first frost date. And for that week, there was some cold weather, which did the cabbages and the broccolis and Brussels sprouts. Hop down. Squirrel Patrol want attention as soon as I fire up the camera. But anyway, the cool weather did really well for our fall crops. And with this heat, I'm wondering if we're not going to have just a little bit of problems. Through the week, it's due to be up to 75 come Wednesday, Thursday, and then it's going to start cooling off again. Now, this is typical Mississippi on the coast, Zone 9A weather, and we'll just have to deal. Hopefully, it won't be too detrimental to our broccoli and cauliflower, because as I'm going to show you, we got some activity over there, so hang around and check that out. Today, working the yard was mainly focused on compost maintenance, and I've pre-recorded some stuff I'll put in here for that so you can see what I was doing. Basically just turning everything in, incorporating some of those free pumpkins we got from the pumpkin patch, and some alfalfa and hay into the compost mix, wetting it down real good and mixing it up. And so that's basically what we did. But I wanted to mention that we have blown past 100 subscribers. I believe now I have like 103 subscribers. Man, I sure appreciate you guys. This is my hobby. This is my hobby vlog, for a lack of a better term. And though I intend to, or I hope to, make it into more of a learning experience, this is basically you watching me kill plants so you don't have to. So I do my best. It doesn't always work out, but hey, hopefully in the process we can learn something. Like, for example, those Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes do not like to grow in the heat. They much prefer the cooler weather. So that is a lesson learned here on the channel. You got that exclusively for me. But let's take a quick look before we lose the light. We've got to check out the beds. Some interesting things are happening, and Ruby just wants some attention. Look at that, man. Good Lord. She can't stand, she's so jealous, but she's such a good girl. Come here. Don't yip. All right, don't clog up the microphone either. All right, here's Ruby, Squirrel Patrol Supervisor, and she does a good job of keeping the squirrels out, but not so much the raccoons. The raccoons in my yard are bigger than her. And that's a whole different video for another day. Are you sniffing in the microphone, girl? Okay, let's get on with the garden tour before it gets too dark. Okay, we've determined that that's a lettuce right there. The rest are some form of cabbage, maybe even a Brussels sprout. But since the cool weather has come on, they've started to do a lot better. So we've allowed them to continue on, and we'll see what they become. Over here, it looks like some of the potatoes are getting finished. The plants on top are dying off, and the bugs are still eating the plants. But hey, let me tell you what, I'm letting the bugs eat those plants, because as long as the bugs are eating them, they're not eating other stuff. But as you can see, we've also got a little mildew issue. That plant looks like it's about ready to be harvested. And over here, we've got plants in different stages, because if you remember right, the raccoons got in there, plus half of what was in there did not do well. So we had to replant. So that bed's doing good. You can see that's my raccoons digging in it, looking for grubs and stuff. I'm gonna have to deal with them. Maybe a forced relocation. Over here, we've got a Dutch cabbage. Not doing too good, but we'll let them survive. The old Danvers carrots seem to be doing good. May have to get in there and thin them out a little bit. Another Dutch cabbage appears to be doing better than the first one. And believe it or not, I'm getting bitten by mosquitoes in December. More Danvers carrots. Now here is that Kellogg's breakfast tomato. And the plant's getting huge, and so I'm gonna have to stake it up. But you can see the big boy in there, he's split a little bit. Hopefully that won't be too detrimental, but we have several other tomatoes on the plant, and you can see he's gotten all the way in over here I'm gonna have to do some additional staking to this guy, keep him up, because the tomatoes are falling over. But man, if you look here on the celebrity tomatoes, they're doing great. Still got the one with the worm in it. Just let the worm be. Over here we got potatoes. They're all doing great. I know you guys saw these last week, but everything's still doing really well. Plus the onions and the garlic doing well. Down the home row here, for our tomato plant right there, I believe that's going to be a little bit too much nitrogen from feeding it, but these are also determinate tomatoes. So what will happen is these plants are going to grow and then make their tomatoes and then drop them. But everything here looks healthy. It's just that the plant needs some additional staking. Over here, also, same thing. Celebrity tomatoes. Again, oh, there's a bug, little bastard. All right, tomatoes looking good. These tomatoes are looking great. So it looks like we're gonna have tomatoes for Christmas. Dutch cabbage. The bunching onions doing great. I actually dug up and moved a couple of these around. Oop, let me get you in frame there. I dug these up and moved around, and they're doing really well. These are bulbing onions over here. They appear to be doing good. I don't know if they're supposed to lean over like that or not. I have no idea. And then over here we have more celebrity tomatoes. And then the poster child Dutch cabbage. And it's doing really well. So let's go check out the prize beds. Oh, don't forget, Danvers. And as you can see right there, it's a little head of broccoli. And so every plant has a broccoli head on it. Here's this one. And so I'm very excited about that. I'm hoping that we can have these in time enough for Christmas, because I'm in charge of bringing vegetables to Christmas dinner. And I would like nothing more to bring a bunch of fresh broccoli and cauliflower from the garden. We're doing a non-traditional Christmas. We're doing basically steaks and twice baked potatoes. So it would be nice to have some broccoli along with that. But as you can see, every last one of those puppies has a broccoli head. Woohoo! All right, on your right, we have cauliflower. On your left, we have Brussels sprouts. And so right here, if you look down in there, boom, cauliflower. Pretty excited. This cauliflower, not so much. Down here, it's way down in there, but it's in there. And then these things got a lot bigger. Look at that one right there. That looks great. So that's only 3 cauliflowers. I'm not disappointed, but I certainly like cauliflower a lot. So next year, I'm going to have to do a whole bed of nothing but cauliflower. Now, if you can see right there on the Brussels sprouts, we're starting to get the leaf nodes in the elbow. And I did receive the message from one of my fans who said I need to trim the branches up a little bit more, and I am going to do that. So I'm going to get in there and trim some of the bottom up, leave the tops, and then the Brussels sprouts will start growing. But I think they're kind of underway, and I do like me some Brussels sprouts. So I'm pretty excited about this. This will be a bigger investment next year, I can promise you. I do like Brussels sprouts a lot. Okay, let's go check out the squirrel patrols on semi-alert, so there may be some barking. But the red cabbages are starting to head up. Not too bad. The other cabbages are heading up quite a lot, as a matter of fact. But you can see here, man, it looks good. It's I want to take pictures of it. And then I don't know what that was. I'm terrible about marking my stuff, man. I've got to do a better job. But as you can see here, these cabbages are starting to make heads. And that is great. They're barking at the kids in the front yard. That's what they're doing. And so the pest issues have been diminished since the... let me go ahead and set you back up on the tripod, and we'll close this thing out. Hey guys, Carl here, Cultivate with Carl, and today we are doing maintenance on the compost pile. I'm in the middle of breaking up a bunch of pumpkins, adding some alfalfa and some hay, and trying to get these piles back activated again. Hopefully the process will break down, the temperature will rise, and the composting will start. So I'm going to take a few swings here at the pumpkin. Basically, we're using the pumpkins from the pumpkin patch as the greens, as is the alfalfa. We're mixing it in with hay and wood chips. I don't have a lot of grass in my yard, and the grass I do have in my yard is full of weeds. So probably wouldn't use that in the compost. But let's bust up a few of these with our good old entrenching tool. Freaking out the squirrel patrol. Now I know some of you are going to be like, what about all those pumpkin seeds? And we're going into the colder time, but if the pile gets high enough or hot enough, the pumpkin seeds will be ruined and they won't sprout. But even if they do sprout, we'll just pull them and add the plant matter back to the compost. Not really a big deal. Don't necessarily want pumpkins growing in the compost, but that's okay. Alright, let me bring you over here so you can see what we got. What we have, we're going to put chopped up pumpkin here. We're going to put a little of the hay from over there on top of this. We're going to get some wood chips from the shed, put them on top, and then we're going to wet it all down with water. Underneath here, the alfalfa, there's a layer of hay, 2 more pumpkins, and some household scraps. Beneath that, there's a bunch of older compost. So this is my newest pile of compost, and we'll just keep feeding this pile through the winter, whereas I'm really letting the other 2 sit and break down. But the other 2 are to the point now where I'm going to rotate them. If we can look over here, they're very dry. In the bottom of this is hay, horse manure in the bottom. No pumpkins in this one. And then this one was all horse manure and other stuff, but now it's mainly just a little horse manure and wood chips. And I can look at the temperature gauge right here, and it's basically the same as the outside temperature. So we're gonna get the pitchfork out, we're gonna rotate, we're gonna wet them, and then that will be that. The cardboard was on top for basically weatherproofing, but I'm gonna pull some of the cardboard. I have another use for it right now, and then I'm gonna put plastic back over the top of these. So we'll be back in just a second. Okay, guys, I've got this bed all topped off here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in our compost thermometer. I'll come out and check this in a couple days, see how hot it's gotten. Hopefully we're gonna be somewhere into the orange or the red, and that'll tell us that our compost, the bacteria and stuff are doing their job to get our compost hot and help break down everything. Sometimes you gotta find a little path through the pumpkins. There you go. All right, so that's it for that pile. What we're gonna do with this pile is we're taking some of our good old shredded pine straw, or chips. Those are pine chips. And then we're gonna put some alfalfa in this one. And then we're gonna put a couple pumpkins in there. We'll put some of that. And then we're just gonna do a good mix from the bottom. And so we'll get some of the horse manure, the straw. We're just gonna mix it all up really good, and kind of like a compost gumbo. And then we're gonna, pour some water on it, and then hopefully it'll keep breaking down. Now the great thing about the compost is I've already used 2 of these bins full. Well, I say full, they break down over time, but I've already made 2 of these bins, and I've used them in the beds. What I'm hoping is that this stuff right here will be ready for the beds before the spring. That's probably a little optimistic. It's probably going to be sometime before the summer, because of course during the winter with cool weather the composting process slows down. So we'll keep doing this here in this area, and the trick is with the oak trees here, a lot of leaves fall, and then I get a lot of spillage from the compost. So actually when I go to rotate these bins, I can rake up the stuff, and underneath the ground layer here is actually a bunch more compost. So it's a pretty efficient system to have this dedicated space where I could be a little messy. We don't really have problems with bugs other than maybe roaches, but we're far enough from the neighbor's house and from my house that they're not going to be there. But I live in South Mississippi, people, we're going to have roaches and termites, so that's what it is. So but hey, if they're into compost is healthy, good to go. I've actually gotten a lot of earthworms out of these compost bins, because as the compost bins cool down from the soil underneath, the earthworms move up in there, and then as part of the cool composting process, the earthworms are in there eating stuff and doing their job. So that makes me very happy also. So see what I can do in here. This stuff is kind of matted. It does get matted. You got to come in and break it up because you need air circulation in here. But I'll show you in just a second. This is dried out a lot. We're gonna bust it up, but I can already see. You can see all that, the white stuff. That's breaking down the hay. So it's good to go. And then we get down here to the stuff that the horse manure was in, and it's broken down much more than it was when we put it in there. So this pile has gotten dry, so the process is probably stopped. We need a little bit more greens in here to get the process going again, and this will make it some good compost. Oh yeah. All right. Look at that right there. So this is stable stuff, stable droppings, and but when I mix it up with this hay, this has enough nitrogen in it, and it will help break down everything, as does the alfalfa. That's why I put the alfalfa in there. The alfalfa grass is full of nitrogen, and so it helps out. But okay, we'll let this play on for some B-roll while I do my job. Oh, hit the okra. Okay guys, that's it for your weekly update. Here we have a lot of progress in the fall garden. I'm just hoping that the weather will just get a little bit colder. I mean, in the south we don't really like cold weather, but I would like colder than what we have so that it can keep the broccoli going, keep the cabbages going. I mean, these things are heading up, or we're looking good. I'm very excited. This is a first fall garden for me, and it looks, keeping fingers crossed, like we're gonna have some success. So this will be all stuff that I don't have to buy in the store. There we go. Go Squirrel Patrol. Woo! Okay, so that's it. Signing off here from Carl. Remember, it's winter. Be working on your compost, working on your fall garden. Have that spring garden in your mind, because January is right around the corner. And here we'll probably be planting the 1st of March. So 1st of March for sure, February for potatoes. So you got to be thinking ahead, making sure you got your seed stock, making sure you've got your grow area set up. Not too early to be thinking about that. Maybe your relatives could hook you up and give you a little something for Christmas that would support your garden habit. So there you go. So as always, guys, have a hobby. Carl here, Cultivate with Carl, signing off. Me, Squirrel Patrol, cabbage and cauliflower and broccoli in the house. So we'll see you next week. Y'all have a great time.